Okay, folks, here's what we got going on. The data that you need for this lab is on the board behind me and or in front of you right here. So the first video showed you what I was doing. We're dropping the ball hits the pad times, bump, bump, computer, boop, boop, and this is the data we need. So on the handout, you might want to look at that. That's the handout. That's Lab 1 in Essential Course Documents. Take a peek at that, and you'll see that you have a data table. So you can construct this data. Use this data for your data table. Now, I know some of you are saying, well, on the handout, you have this and this switched the other way. It doesn't matter. You're relevant. You can just do whatever you want. If you want to keep it this way, do this way. But fill this in and use these numbers, okay? Zoom in if you have to, if you can't see that. Okay, then what we have going on here is calculations. So you're gonna do your calculations. First calculation you're gonna do for each one of the trials, that's each one, that's 10 times 10 calculations. You're gonna do calculation number 1. It says calculate the value for G using the data collected. Okay, do this for each trial, 10 times. Show the setup for the equation that you're using. Now, you're gonna have to use one of the big three to calculate the acceleration due to gravity. Now, we all know that the big three can be written with I always put a little dotted letter there to make the A into a G. So you're solving for G in one of these three equations. It's your job, figure out which equation it is that you're going to use. Okay, all right, you can do this. I have faith in you. Okay, you're my best students that I have this semester. So you now take the distance and the time values, figure out which equation you're using, solve for little g, do that 10 times. Now you only have to write it out once, show how you got, let's say for example, for the first data set, this one here, how you got little g for that. Maybe put it into the equation, do the math, show me how you got that. You don't have to show me how you got all 10 of them written out. You can if you want to, but then it takes a lot of space. So give me one example of how you solved, and then after that, show me the answers for the G's. Write those down that you got for each trial. All right, then it says, calculate the average value for the G's of the 10 trials. So take those 10 trials, the G values you calculated, add them all up, divide by 10, and get an average. Okay, you can do that, okay? Show me how you did that. Show me the calculation. Then last but not least, we're going to do a percent error for your average. Now you might not remember the percent error equation. I'll put it down for you right here, okay? We all know that the percent error, and we do this a lot. We use percent errors a lot to see how well we did. We analyze how we did. So percent error is equal to the true value minus the experimental value. I'll abbreviate that. Divided by the true value. Take an absolute value, in case you get a negative, absolute value, multiplied by 100, boom, we got ourselves a percent error. You should be getting a percent error less than 10% on this. You should be getting, the computer is pretty good, and so am I. I'm a good lab partner, huh? Yeah. And you should be getting a percent error for a G less than 10%. Now we all know that we should be using the true value for G here and here on the bottom is 9.8. 9.81 actually to be a little bit more accurate. Use 9.81, true value, plug in what you got for the average. So calculation 2, you have value that you get for the average goes here. Do your calculation, see what you get. I bet you do well because I have faith in you. All right. Then we're going to answer these questions. Boop, boop, boop. Okay, I don't give you any help on the questions. Okay, I'll always help you on calculations. I'll be glad to help you on calculations, answer any questions you have about those calculations. Questions, no, you're on your own, people. You're on your own on those. Come up with those answers as best you can for these 3 questions. Typically, I have anywhere between 3 and 5 questions per lab, and that is your lab report. So your lab reports always will be data table. Okay, show me the data table that you gathered. And in this case, I gathered the data, but hey, what are we gonna do? And then show me your calculations. Okay, in this lab, you have 3 different calculations you'll be showing me, and then we always answer the questions. Give me your answers to those questions, and that is your lab report. So you give me those 3 things, okay, and you do a good job on them, you should be getting a good grade on all labs. All right, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I will be seeing you next week. Well, maybe not. I mean, it depends. You know, like, oh, I get all this stuff, I don't have to worry about vectors. Okay, well, great, then you don't have to come in, but the vast majority of you I'm going to see at least once next week, either Tuesday, Thursday, or both. And so at that point, if you still have questions on this, you can ask, you know, then if you have any questions. I think that's it. So I'm gonna load this in, and then boom, you're ready to go. Hope you have a good weekend. Bye.